from a fish with no face to sharks with 2 heads. Here are 17 of the weirdest creatures caught while fishing. 17. OPAH fish. Now, just to avoid any confusion, no, we did not just mention Oprah fish. The OPAH fish is a completely different species and does not give away cars after the show. At any rate, given the near-circular shape, these creatures are also known as moonfish, and while they're known for that shape, they are also known for a distinct reddish-orange coloration. There are actually 2 species, the largest of which can grow to around 600 pounds and measure more than 6.5 feet long. They are considered to be prized trophies for deep-sea wranglers, but they're rarely caught by recreational fishermen. But still, in 2014, did you know that 3 fishermen in Southern California each hooked and landed an OPAH fish on the same day in the same boat almost simultaneously? 16. Giant thresher shark. These creatures are found in temperate oceans all over the world, and they're named for the long tails, which are reminiscent of threshers. They use the tail to stun prey, and there are stories of the sharks injuring fishermen with that weapon-like tail. Now, in general, they can grow to around 20 feet long and weigh more than 1,000 pounds, but in 2007, an angler caught a truly giant thresher shark off the coast of Cornwall in the UK, and this one measured 32 feet from nose to fin and weighed 1,250 pounds. That easily beat the previous record of 953 pounds. 15. Alligator gar. They are often called living fossils because the animals have changed very little over the course of time. Now, some of those primitive physical traits they retain include the scales, which are unlike those of other fish. These scales are bone-like and serrated and protected by an enamel-like substance that makes them almost impenetrable. These ambush predators can reach some impressive sizes too, growing up to 10 feet and weighing around 300 pounds. In 2011, though, a fisherman in Mississippi brought in a gar that went 8.5 feet and weighed 327 pounds, and that's a record for any gar that was caught and officially recorded. 14. Ocellated icefish. Some fish that often get entangled with catches of krill are some really bizarre-looking critters. For one thing, they have no scales, but they also have a physical characteristic that you cannot see. Found in the southern ocean of the Antarctic, they are known for having transparent blood, something highly uncommon for vertebrates. Experts say the anomaly is due to the creatures lacking hemoglobin, the protein that gives most blood its red color and sends oxygen throughout the bloodstream. Now, in the cold Antarctic waters, oxygen more efficiently dissolves in blood plasma, so the fish's circulatory system absorbs its oxygen directly from that plasma. But scientists still do not know how exactly these animals can survive without hemoglobin. 13. Ocean sunfish. They're equally well known as mola mola, and in Latin, that name translates to millstone, which is what the creatures resemble somewhat thanks to the shape and texture. It just as easily resembles a fish head with a tail attached. Weighing more than 2,200 pounds, they rank as the heaviest bony fish in the world. And with their fins extended, they can be about as long as they are tall, which is about 6 feet. But they can get even larger than that. A specimen caught by fishermen in Indonesia exceeded 6 feet and weighed about 1.5 tons. In 1910, we found that a huge critter was caught off the coast of Santa Catalina Island in California, and our sources indicate that that one weighed some 3,500 pounds. But the largest specimen to date, as documented by Guinness, was caught in 2002, and that one measured some 10 feet and weighed 4,400 pounds. Black SCABBARD fish. Now, they have a scary look to go along with that rather sobering name. The eel-like creatures can weigh up to 15 pounds and measure close to 4 feet. The large snouts contain fang-like choppers used for preying on cephalopods, crustaceans, and on other fish. They can typically live at depths from 600 to more than 5,000 feet deep. And because of that depth, fishermen have to use specialized deep-water lines to catch them. They are in great demand, actually, because they're considered to be regional delicacies in many countries within the Iberian Peninsula, and that includes Portugal. In the Madeira Islands, black SCABBARD fish is served up as espada preta. 11. Giant shrimp. Now there's a classic oxymoron, but in this case it is a fact. In 2014, a couple in Florida caught a critter they could not identify, and they jokingly referred to it as an alien. Experts later identified the creature as a species of mantis shrimp, or stomatopod. Those are marine crustaceans that can generally grow between 4 to 15 inches long for larger species. However, this specimen measured around 18 inches long and tried to strike with its tail. Did you know there are more than 450 species of this animal described to date? 10. Pacific viperfish. With their fearsome appearance, including a large mouth filled with long, blade-like teeth, it might be best that they typically inhabit extreme depths of some 5,000 meters below the surface. That's more than 16,000 feet. And we say that because that way we don't have to actually see these living nightmares. But now and again, these animals can drift to shallower depths in search of food, and on one rare occasion, the head of a viperfish turned up during trawling operations in Alaska. You have to wonder where the rest of it went. 9. Remora fish. Sometimes you don't have to go after a fish because the fish will come and attach itself to you. The remora are easily identified by the dorsal fins, which form a modified oval-shaped organ that can open and close to create suction. By doing so, the fish can firmly affix themselves to large marine animals like sharks, hence their nickname, shark sucker. They can also latch onto boats and even to divers. Fishermen will actually use the remora's suction ability to catch turtles from the water. What they do is, upon sighting a turtle, the fishermen tie a cord or rope around the remora and then they throw it into the water. The fish will typically head directly toward the turtle and affix itself to the shell. Then both the remora and the turtle are pulled back to the boat. 8. Basket star. While it looks like an alien life form, it is actually found here on Earth, albeit under the waves. The strange creature resembles an octopus, but it's actually identified as a basket star, which is a distant relation to starfish. A fisherman in Singapore reeled one in, and even though it appears to have hundreds of tentacles wriggling about, it really has only 5 arms, and those arms are divided into branchlets that are more dexterous. These critters feed mainly on zooplankton and usually inhabit waters around 6,000 feet deep. 7. PACU fish. Given the scary choppers, it should come as no surprise that these freshwater fish are related to piranhas. But with these critters, the teeth can even grow on the roof of the mouth. But maybe the most disturbing thing about the choppers is that they have an odd resemblance to human teeth. And while they are native to Brazil, PACU fish have been reported as far away as Scandinavia and even New Jersey. Now, along the way, they've taken along the scary reputation, which is kind of given away by the nickname, the nutcracker. Now, there have been a number of fishermen reporting that the fish apparently has an appetite for the human reproductive apparatus, as it were. Now, we could not confirm it, but in New Guinea, some fishermen were claimed to have died from such an attack. 6. Tricked out treat. If there was ever a crustacean that was prepackaged for the Eve of All Hallows, or Halloween if you prefer, it would have to be this one. This lobster was caught off the coast of Maine in 2013 and displayed a rare mutation that caused it to be evenly split down the middle with solid black and orange colors. Now, you could say that the two-tone shell turned out to be quite a treat, but there was also a trick attached, because another such animal was found the previous October off the coast of Salem, Massachusetts. Now, with the odds of discovering a critter like this placed at around 1 in 50 million, you do have to wonder if some witchcraft was not involved. 5. The ZUIYO-MARU carcass. Plesiosaurs were large marine reptiles that went extinct around 66 million years ago. But in 1977, the crew of a Japanese fishing trawler was convinced they had found the remains of the ancient animal. Located off the coast of New Zealand, the carcass was caught in the ship's trawl. Now, there was no way to conclude exactly what the creature might have been, and before marine biologists could be contacted, the captain ordered the remains thrown back into the waters so the fish wouldn't spoil. But sketches, photos, and samples of bone and skin did remain. The decomposing corpse was thought to have weighed about 1,800 kilograms, or 3,968 pounds, while measuring about 10 meters long, or 33 feet. After a lot of excitement about it being the remains of a plesiosaur, or sea serpent, a team of scientists concluded it was most likely the remains of a basking shark. What do you think it was? 4. Two-headed sharks. They might look like something from out of a Photoshop session, but these two-headed animals are being found more and more often in fishing nets. They initially started appearing around 2008 off the coast of Australia, and since then they've shown up in Florida waters when a two-headed fetus was found in the belly of a bull shark. Occurrences have also been reported from the Indian Ocean and off the coast of Mexico. So what is causing the mutations? Well, scientists do not have any definite answers so far, but speculation includes the anomalies being linked to effects including pollution and viral infections. 3. One-eyed shark. So going from a shark with two heads to this one-eyed shark whose image kicked up a lot of controversy when pictures first appeared several years ago. The one-eyed albino animal would certainly appear to be a prop or some sort of digital creation, but marine biologists have confirmed that this creature was genuine. The shark pup was cut from the womb of an endangered dusky shark that was caught in the Gulf of California. The animal's condition is the result of cyclopia, and that is a genetic disorder that prevents the eyes from forming into two cavities. Now, a lot of us here thought we saw a resemblance between this critter and Mike from Monsters, Inc. Can you see it? 2. Faceless fish. It is also called a faceless cusk because the animal is formally identified as a species of cusk eel. These critters are usually found deep in the ocean, at depths approaching 17,000 feet. Now that means they're not often seen by humans, but when they are seen, their face cannot be forgotten, because they essentially seem to have no face whatsoever, as that common name implies. Some researchers in Australia found that out in 2017 when one was caught during a deep-sea exploratory mission off the east coast of Oz. The creature actually does have facial features, including eyes, nose, and mouth, but they can be difficult to discern. Now, did you know experts say that this fish had not been seen in Australian waters since the late 19th century? 1. Giant squid. Now, these are among the sea creatures often cited as a real-life inspiration for the legendary Kraken. And you can understand why when you hear the stats associated with a giant squid found in the remote Ross Sea of Antarctica. Now, this beast was around the size of a minibus, weighing some 770 pounds. Experts say the specimen was female, with 2 tentacles that stretched around 7 feet and 8 arms that went over 3 feet long. By analyzing the humongous squid, researchers hope to identify the animal's life cycle and dietary habits, among other factors.